Okay, good morning, guys. So today it's a good morning here, really cloudy. Um, I thought of starting off with the infosec stuff, and most of the time, even if you see historically, as well as even today, one of the areas that we always work on is access control, and access control will split into different areas, segments, and we kind of move it into different. We name it in different ways, we categorize it in different ways, and identity and access management is what would come up in the domains when we learn about it through certifications. All right. So, why is access control so important? And it's always the same thing, information is lying there somewhere, either in our head, it's in our brains, or it's in the systems, and we want it to reach to only those who need it. Now that's one of the most traditional auditing question that we all face, and many managers, many directors, many of them have the same challenge across industries, across businesses, to ensure that the data is accessible only to those who need to access it, view it, edit it, or even update it, or even sharing it. So this is where it's kind of revolving around when it comes to businesses, and that's the reason access control plays quite a important role. And one of the areas, or one of the technology that really helped us share information across, and try to give a kind of control, or from a management perspective, where we manage things across thousands of servers, is Active Directory. Now, Active Directory is from Microsoft, and one of the most long surviving LDAP solution. Um, there were, and even now we do have some more products, but majority of them work across in the same way. That is based on the LDAP protocol, and the LDAP protocol gives us the direction, to maintain it as directory services. So these are just some terminologies which evolve around Active Directory, access control, sorry, and mainly um, what happens is we try to control things around. I mean, it's a centralized way of doing it. There are decentralized way of doing it also, but then when you look at most of the compliance requirement, especially on the financial segment, we will come across these least privilege, access to least privilege, need to know access, why should and then managers ask why should this guy need access. It is management responsibility to ensure that they ask these questions. So that is also part of the compliance that we have to look into, or some of the standards that some of the frameworks that will ask us to do it. So um, again, depending on the business, the way we try to define access control and the way we try to set things up will be there. In recent times, things have diversified, and what we have is access control on data. Mostly, it will divide into SaaS or cloud. The bottom line is, well, it's no big secret, if you're really in technology world, it's just the way we change the way we use the same technologies in different ways, different configurations, so that and then we term it into different ways. And but otherwise, the the auditing questions almost remain the same. We have to kind of revolve around the same challenges to be addressed. So that's about it for today on access control, and I mean it's a deep stuff. Um, Access control, even though we say on the data, it is always coming back to the person who has access. the identification methods around it on who has access, and then the way we try to give the access. Then we can switch technologies. We can move to the network side. Just I mean, it may not be just on the data layer. It may be on the network layer, and we still find the same thing. The way we try to define the network defines the larger scope of who can have access to on what, at what layer. Then we come to the application layer. I'm sure that most of you who have coded access controls on applications, hard coding them, would definitely would come across the access control, and we do have compliance requirements. We do have regulatory requirements on how it gets hard coded there, so that there is no vulnerability there. So that's it. So if we see access control, yeah, it will come up in almost everything that we try to do. So keep keep learning, and keep looking for things around access control. Thank you.